Bonjour everyone, this is Monday Young here, your life and expat coach, and welcome to my channel. This channel is for expatriates, travelers, freelancers, entrepreneurs, or those who are just looking to improve themselves and their career. So today I wanted to make a short video about a question people ask me all of the time. Why were you in the military and how did you transition successfully out of the military? Most people are quite shocked to find out that I spent 5 years serving in the Air Force, and they always, wonder, why did you do that and what benefits did it give you and how were you able just to leave and make a new career in the private sector. So I joined the military for a long list of reasons. At the time, one of the major reasons was I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I wasn't ready to go to university. I didn't know what I wanted to study. I wasn't going to waste my parents' money going to school when I knew good well that I had no idea what I wanted to do at all. And also, I really wanted to be independent. And I also knew that if I was going to be successful at school or in any career in my life, I would need to get some discipline, which I did not have at all. I wasn't organized. I wasn't disciplined. I was all over the place. And it really, at that time, seemed like the best decision. And ultimately, in hindsight, it was one of the best decisions I made in my life. So once I joined the military, I didn't get to choose the job that I was going to have. I quit shipped and I ended up in logistics management. Now, when I was doing this job in the military, I did not like it at all. It was really I couldn't imagine myself doing that, later in life. But to my surprise, that job and that skill really helped to open the door to lots of different opportunities and jobs once I got out of the military. So I would say how I transitioned successfully out of the military. I've got a couple notes here, so just to make sure that I don't get off a track or miss anything. So I would say one of the ways that I was able to transition out of the military successfully was that when I got in, I knew I wasn't going to be a career soldier. So I was always thinking about what I was going to do when I got out. I knew I wanted to, if I had figured out what I wanted to do, that I would either go to school or I would go completely into the work sector as fast as I can. So when I was in, I used all the benefits that were available to me as a soldier. And one of those was the tuition assistance, where I think it pays like 70% of your tuition and you can study while you're in your spare time. And that's exactly what I did. I took classes in the evening. There were professors who came to the base to teach soldiers, and I spent my time while I was in sort of stacking my skills that I would be able to use to help me transition into the private sector. So that's one thing I would say that really helped me, that if you're in and you're thinking about getting out, or you have a partner and they're in the military and they're thinking about getting out, making sure that you use your education benefits as much as you can while you're in to get yourself prepared for when you get out is one of the smartest things that you can do. Another thing that really helped me was that in my last year, I really knew that when you're in the military, you get used to this kind of having a steady paycheck and everything's secure. But once you get into the private sector, it's not going to be like that. You don't necessarily know how long it's going to take you to get a job, and that job is never going to be as secure as it is as working in the military. So what I started to do my last year, one, was to save money and to get my expenses down to the lowest possible denominator. So that is something I really suggest, because you don't know how long it's going to, like I said, to take you to find a job or to get on your feet. And the last thing you need is to be stressed out about credit card bills and car payments and all of this kind of stuff. So prepare yourself so you can have a stress-free transition is to really get your expenses down, pay off as much stuff as you can, and to start to stack a little money to the side so that you have a little cushion for when you do get out. One of the other things that I did that I said that really helped me was I lived off base. So as soon as I could, I got a house for myself off base, because I wanted to be able to, like, when you're getting out, it's kind of an emotional experience, and maybe people underestimate how huge the transition is. So you really don't want to be moving and packing your stuff and looking for a place, especially when you don't have a job, because it's definitely hard to find an apartment when you no longer have a job. So I would suggest, if it's possible to you, to, you can rent a room, have roommates, you can get your own place. For me, I purchased a house, but I was in Arkansas, and actually my mortgage was cheaper than any rent that I could find. And basically I was set up. So when I got out, I was already in my own place. All my stuff was there. I knew my neighborhood. I knew everything, and I knew where I could find work once I finally got out. So I would say that would be one of the last tips that I would give that really helped me transition out successfully. Was the last year I really prepared to go into the private sector. I got all of my qualifications. Sort of translated to private sector language. I knew absolutely every single detail of the job that I did, how that would transfer into the private sector, what sectors I could use the skills that I had in, and also, so I translated all my skills. I got my resume, CV ready. It was ready to go. I was not waiting until I got out. I was sending my CV out, my resume, 6 months before I got out, to make sure that I had some job offers, or to fill out the market to see if there was work where I was, if I may have to move. So I was already on my grind even before I got out of the military. I registered with all the recruitment agencies that I can find. And also, the best thing that I did was, in my last duty station the last year, I wasn't going to be doing any more deployments. And so I asked my unit if it was possible for me to work a part-time job in my spare time. And they gave me permission to do so, as long as the place that I was hired knew that, if there were exercises and things that I needed to do, that they would have to excuse me to fulfill my service. I was able to find 2 part-time jobs in the sector that I wanted to work in. And at that time, when I got out, I wanted to be a chef. So I had gotten a chef's position part-time in the evening, between 2 restaurants. I was working maybe 2 or 3 nights a week, and as a beginner chef. And so when I got out of the military, I already had a job. So there was no, I already had my place, already had my job, I had some money saved. And it just made my transition really stress-free. And those are the tips that I would recommend for you. And when I finally decided to move to Europe, and that I wanted to have a new life, I really used that time of the 6 months of unemployment to prepare for that transition. So if you're not going to stay in the state where you get out, I would recommend you use that 6 months of unemployment to really, 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 really get yourself prepared for that move, and use that money and time wisely to set yourself up for success for wherever you are going. Well, that's it for me today, and I hope these tips has helped someone. If you've transitioned out of the military and you know of some benefits, or there's some things that you did that could help someone, please feel free to leave your suggestions or your advice in the comments below. If you have any questions for me, like I said, also please feel free to leave them in the comments below. I try to get back to every single person if I can. And also, if you enjoyed this video, please hit subscribe, and I look forward to speaking to all of you next time. Au revoir.